professional fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands. Touch gloves. Good luck.
So Teddy jenspulver, one of these fighters who is making the transition. We've seen this before. Many times we've seen it where a fighter doesn't necessarily have the intentions of ever becoming a boxer. It's just something they try on later in their career to try to cash some checks. But in the case of Pulver, he has always felt like he's a natural boxer and not somebody that should have been taking part in MMA.
And a natural southpaw. We'll see how that bothers Vincent. Pulver hopes that it bothers him a lot. From what I understand, Vincent turns to southpaw when he wants to, sometimes too. We'll see if he wants to. There's nothing that makes up for that experience in the amateurs of being a fighter. Nothing quite makes up for that. But ultimate fighting comes pretty close. Getting in that ring, dealing with that pressure, dealing with that fear, confronting those two things, being able to, and being forced to be disciplined under those kind of conditions. Wrestling also, real wrestling, high school wrestling, college wrestling, as you just talked about with Pulver, that helps a lot. Because first of all, you gotta be very disciplined. Second of all, you gotta be smart. Wrestlers don't just go in there, grab somebody, throw them to the ground. You gotta know moves, you gotta use your brain. You have to face one-on-one competition. Not a bad way to get ready for boxing. Close second cousin. Very tough, very honorable sport. The real wrestling. And right now, Pulver trying to be the guy who gets inside and works a little bit.
Well, he got in there against the ropes, hasn't fired much off yet. Now he comes with a left hand. Left hand comes in, but he gets caught by Steve Vincent.
Well, you can see Vincent is covering up real well and he's looking for spots. And guess what? He just got one of his spots. Pulver was thrown from a little too far away, a little bit wide. Talk about fundamentals all the time. Watch Vincent. He's looking for the right spot now. He knows what he's doing. He's 3-0 with 3 knockouts. He has some power. He's got quickness in his hands. And you can see in Vincent's mind, in his technique and in his approach, he knows when to throw. He's looking for a little help from Pulver again. I can see it. Vincent's moving around. He's staying at the right distance defensively, and he's looking for Pulver maybe to make a mistake, punch from a little too far away, where Vincent can do what he did a moment ago. Throw back at the right time and nail Pulver. See, right there, Pulver got away with it. Threw something from too far away. Didn't pay a price.
Keep him up. Keep him up.
He's got to be careful that he doesn't throw far away again and pay a price from Vincent. Vincent being very conservative for a guy who just had his opponent on the floor.
I agree with you, Teddy. Very controlled in the past minute and a half after scoring that knockdown here in the first round.
He hopes it doesn't come back to bite him on the backside. Some guys are finishers, some guys are not.
Big first round from Steve Vincent.
The money.
Boy, jenspulver really helped Steve Vincent's cause there, didn't he, Teddy? You see the punches in round 1, 14 out of 56 for Steve Vincent. 12 of those 14 were power connects.
You can see Vincent's a thoughtful fighter, conservative fighter. He's got skill, good quick hands. He's got some pop in those punches. And he's a guy who thinks in there. As you just touched on, he wants help from Pulver. Pulver throws from too far away, breaks the fundamentals. Vincent's going to be there to let his hands go.
Tuesday Night Fights. I'm Joe Tessitore alongside Teddy Atlas. Glad you can be with us for the second installment of our summer series, coming to you from Elk Grove Village, Illinois this week.
Good technique by Vincent. See that he had a background amateur-wise.
And look at this. They are trading knockdowns here tonight.
Showing the constitution to come back from the first round knockdown and deliver his own. Maybe, just maybe, Vincent will be sorry. We alluded to it. Maybe he'll be sorry before the night's over that he wasn't a finisher, Joe, in that first round. You know, I've been giving him credit for being thoughtful, being conservative, having good technique, but maybe not being fiery enough when he had Pulver on the floor in the first round. Maybe that'll be his undoing. Maybe he's been too conservative. You could have made an argument that after he had Pulver on the floor in the first round, he should have got after it. Right now, you can see the confidence of Vincent completely different. Pulver still has to be careful he doesn't throw something from too far away or something too wide. Because even though he got off there, as Vincent blocks, he can come right back.
Interesting start to this scheduled 4-rounder.
Anytime you have a 4-rounder, both fighters have been on the floor in the first 2 rounds. I would say, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. You could see the confidence just go the other direction, like the wind changing direction for Vincent.
So after he hit the canvas in the first round, Jenspulver, the former star of mixed martial arts, returns with a knockdown of his own scored in this second round. Let's listen in to what both corners have to say. Just through the knockdown in the second round scored by Pulver.
You can see Pulver, the southpaw Pulver, nothing fancy, hypnotizing Vincent a little bit with that right jab, right back to his opponent.
Round number 3. Scheduled 4-rounders between these two undefeated welterweights. The punches in round 2. Vincent an 18-10 edge. Of course, the straight left hand by Pulver, the punch that counts most. You see Steve Vincent in blue with white trim tonight. Jenspulver wearing the black trunks with white trim.
Well, so far, both fighters...
Oh, another left hand. Puts down Vincent. 3 rounds, 3 knockdowns.
And again, the jab from the southpaw Pulver was just used to hypnotize. Just used as a setup punch. Nothing hard, nothing big, just a setup punch to distract Vincent and allow that left hand from the southpaw stance to get in.
Now, Teddy, after the second round, we heard the corner of Jenspulver saying you took a break after you scored the knockdown. He's not doing that this time.
Well, so far up to this moment, we've seen and we've grown to understand 2 things about these 2 fighters. One, they both have heart. But on the floor, they've gotten up to compete. And 2, neither one, and I say it even here again, neither one have shown the instincts or the inclination to be finishers. Pulver not pressing the advantage right now, nor did Vincent in the first round. You could argue probably very well here that Vincent has the better technique. But right now, Pulver imposing himself onto Vincent by putting pressure on, not allowing the room for Vincent to use that technique or that experience he might have had from the amateurs.
And you can see it right here. Teddy's fallen back into what his corner was complaining about just moments ago.
Sometimes when a fight is better than you experience-wise or technique-wise, you put a lot of pressure on it, and you can really cut into that advantage. Not allow him to use those tools. That's what Pulver's trying to do. You could also make an argument that there's some question marks about the chin. Not the heart, but the chin, the whiskers of Vincent. And again, after Pulver has had Vincent on the floor, doesn't show those finishing qualities. Vincent finishing up the round fairly well.
Early night of power and action here on Tuesday Night Fights. If you missed it earlier, Chris Thomas had a big upset win over Richie LaMontagne, a second-round knockout. And here, Pulver and Vincent trading knockdowns. We've had 5 rounds on our card tonight. We've had 5 knockdowns. For Vincent, but it's been the hard-pressing Jenspulver the last 2 rounds, connecting with the left hands that has done damage to Steve Vincent. Pulver in the black trunks with the white trim is a former star of mixed martial arts. He was a fan favorite, but as he says, was always to be a pro boxer and thus turned pro this year, and this is his second fight. Both fighters unbeaten. Vincent 3-0 with 3 knockouts, and Pulver won his pro debut by knockout. You see Vincent now trying to get in and out, put his punches together a bit.
An interesting fight because both guys have been on the floor, and here in the 4th round, the final round, you know Vincent who's got to be behind because you have to score more 10-8 rounds. And of course, Pulver scored 1 more than Vincent has. Vincent still has a chance because, as we know from the 1st round, he's already shown that he can put Pulver on the floor. And he needs to do that at least once to get a draw. This has been 2 things here. An interesting fight, a nice fight to watch, and an easy fight to score because of the knockdowns in each round.
28-26 would be the thought of common sense and a rational judge. As we've known many times, that is not the case. But if a 10-9, as you said, Teddy, does go Steve Vincent's way, well, that'll have him a point short. So see if they can trade knockdowns again here. This being Steve Vincent's turn to step up to the plate. There's something you don't see often. 10-8, 10-8, 10-8.
Too bad.
Too bad we're not playing cards in Vegas.
Yeah, he'd have a good hand. And right now, Vincent's looking to pull one out of the chute.
Last minute of this 4th round.
This is a fight you could have scouted, figured going in that you knew something about 2 guys. Vincent might have the better technique, better background in the amateurs, but Pulver might have figured to be stronger. The bigger man, his only fight in his pro debut 3.5 months ago was as a junior middleweight. He dropped 9 pounds to make 147 tonight, so he figured to be a little stronger, and so far, but the quicker guy, maybe the better skills, but maybe the guy who's going to lose, even with that quickness and those better skills, Vincent. Vincent's been very active since turning pro 3 months ago. This is his 4th fight. But right now, he needs to score a knockdown. At least he would figure that in the last couple of seconds.
Yeah, Teddy, and I don't doubt at all that he won this round. He seemed to box a little better, and he was more active moving his fist. But as you said,
we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Ted Gimza scores about 38-37. He has it for Vincent. Judge Steve Corbo sees about 37-36. He has it for Pulver. And Judge Noel Schiff scores about 37-36 for the winner by split decision, Jens Little Eagle Pulver.
all right, now there's something really interesting, Teddy, with the decision there. Obviously, Jens Pulver gets the victory, but one judge in one of those rounds obviously scored a knockdown round, a 10-9 round.
Yeah, he figured that in that round, obviously, that Vincent did enough later on in the round to make him lose by only 1 point instead of 2 points. And, you know, that's the subjectivity of scoring. And you could see an argument for that, although I thought it was 37-36 for Pulver. But a nice win for Pulver and an interesting fight.
Coming up on Tuesday Night Fights, we will have the buzz, what the word is in the boxing industry and what's going on in boxing. Plus, our main event is still to come. Omar Chico and Manu Nato, they'll go to war in 10 rounds when we come back.